It's like God's given it to us, but we totally overlooked it. We're thinking about money that man has made, where the gold and silver is around us, and it stands the test of time. Even if it was to, if you was to sell it, it's still valuable. You're not losing. So governments can't print more gold. They can't. But gold is real money. They hold intrinsic value, unlike stocks, which can go to zero. Even with this Bitcoin, crypto, even though, some of it's good, I'm not saying it isn't, but I don't understand how it works, and I haven't got time to try and figure it out either. But you can't have everything on, well, I might as well call it in the cloud. For example, digital. You got to have something that is, tangible, that you can hold in your hand. People are relying too much on their mobile phones. What if something happens with your mobile phone? You can't even check, or our internet is gone, and we can't even check our stocks, etc. until a week later, and then everything's gone. And I don't mean that to be a scaremonger or anything like that, but with gold and silver, it's going to be in the place where you left it. Unlike stock, they perform really well in economic downturns. You check out the 2008 crisis history. I was involved in 2008 when the recession hit me, and I had 3 businesses, and it's not nice. Historical performance of gold and silver. In 2008, gold skyrocketed after the financial crash. In 2020, gold hit an all-time high during the market's uncertainty. Now, with the economic instability rising, experts predict gold could hit 3,000 to 5,000 per ounce. Per ounce. Do you know how small that is? So question for you is, are you going to be investing in gold and silver right now? Type yes or no in the chat. So this is an infinite money glitch. Why the US dollar is failing. The Federal Reserve's printed trillions of dollars in the last few years. And the result is your dollar buys less every single year. It just depreciates every single year. You may put the money in your bank, but it's decreasing. Inflation is eroding your savings and your investments. Look, get gold and silver, and that is going to be like your pension buffer, because at the end of the day, you don't know how much your pension is really going to be until it's time for you to get your pension. And you could be missing out on probably a third of what you thought you were going to get due to economic environments, for example. Whereas if you've got gold and silver, you've got that buffer there, and you're not going to be in a tight state, for example. Gold holds its value, and it has done for 5,000 plus years, while every paper currency in history has failed. So if you're still saving in cash, it's time to really reconsider your strategy. For example, So let's look at this gold reevaluation. How high could you go? Many analysts predict that gold could be revalued massively in the next 5 to 10 years. Some say 3,000 per ounce, others predict 10,000 plus per ounce. Could the government return to gold standard? This is why they're buying up all this gold. The banks are buying up this gold as well. So what do you think that the gold is going to be in 2025? By the end of 2025, do you think it's going to be 3,000, 5,000, 10,000? I'd love to hear your predictions in the chat here. Look, we've got Fort Knox and the gold hoard that nobody talks about until lately. Fort Knox, it was last audited, according to what I was reading, in 74. So does the US even have the gold reserves left like it said it was, which I believed it was? Let's just have a look here. I have to get back to you on that. I write so much on my thing here, but I know it's tons and tons that they've got. You know, I could quite easily ask ChatGPT to give me that information. I knew I wrote it down here somewhere earlier. I've just got the ounce amount here. But I do know that they've got tons. Something about 8,000 tons? I can't remember off the... Yeah, 8,300 tons of gold is meant to be in Fort Knox, for example, which is worth a lot of money. So it'd be interesting to see whether that's still, that amount is still there, because I know that sometimes they give it to... because it belongs to other countries, and sometimes they have to give things back, or other countries give it to them, and it's like a swapping thing going on. I'm not quite sure how it works because I don't really understand it. So it'd be interesting to look more into how it actually works. But it'd be interesting to see if the gold is there, the amount, you know, of 8,300 tons of gold. Is it still there, for example? So my final thoughts is that don't rely on the cash money, for example. Stocks are volatile. Diversify. Get yourself some gold and silver, which has historical value. It's been around a long time. So don't wait for the prices to skyrocket and then you don't have the money to buy it, for example. I'm not referring to everybody. I'm just referring to some that may not be able to buy it if it gets too high, for example. So I'm going to be doing a video on the truth about Fort Knox and what they don't want you to know, for example. So turn on your notifications regarding that, and I'd love to hear your views on whether you're going to be buying yourself some gold and silver currently as it is, because now's the best time to get it before it skyrockets out of control. Look, we've got the manufacturing, which is, you know, the solar power, the electronic vehicles, the EV batteries, manufacturing. So there's so much that they need silver for. And this is why it's driving the demand up for silver. It needs to, it's going to be used more for different things, you know, and I think that it's wise to start buying it now, for example, before the prices get really, really high. And then you're going to feel like, oh, I've missed out on here. You imagine spending, whether you're spending $100 a month or you're spending 400, 500 a month, get yourself some gold and silver, for example, and let it stack up. And then at the end of the year, you've got this amount of money which you know is safe. It's not going to go down, it will go up, for example. And then after the years go by, year after year after year, you've got savings. It's like, you imagine you buy this gold or silver, for example, and then 10 years down the line, you got your pension. Or even 20 years down the line, you got a top up of a pension. It is a good investment, a good, sound financial investment. You could even put it down on a property. You can even pay for your child's college education through these gold and silver coins. It is a win-win situation. And if we don't start looking at it now, you're going to miss out, because people have already started anyway. People have already started. There's been events. Check out, go to the events that's happening around the world. There's these gold and silver events, these bullion events, the bullion dealers, etc. They're holding these events. You need to go to them if you haven't gone to them yet. I believe there was one recently, this month. So it really makes sense to go and buy these items. Even go to a dealer that specializes in bullion and coins, for example. Go to them and purchase from them. Get started on it now. If you want to talk to me, you can book a free 15-minute appointment with me, and I'll talk to you about because we're going to be holding a boot camp because of the way the financial situation is. We're going to be holding a boot camp for how to start your own scrap gold party, and it's $97. But I've also got here on one of my other videos, I'm going to put the link here. There's a download, a free download for you to start your own, silver gold business. It's a free download. I used it many years ago. That's how I did mine, and I created my own